Welcome to the Bridging the Gap series, where I interview healthcare professionals from other specialties or career fields to see their evolution.
Okay.
So, on today's show, we have someone that is near and dear to me, a roommate turned lifelong friend. She has taken on various ventures from nursing school to phlebotomy. She has evolved in so many ways. And here at the Evolved Nurse, we recognize that we are more than just one thing. We are multifaceted. So while she has a background in healthcare, she is also a model, designer, and now a real estate agent. Help me welcome to the podcast one of my best roomies in undergrad, someone who has poured into many people's lives, Qua James, to the Evolved Nurse podcast.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Hello, Qua. And so on every episode, I always ask, did you always want to be what you are? So did you always want to be a phlebotomist?
Actually, I always wanted to be a nurse. So the goal really was to always be something in the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
I think the goal was to be something in the medical field, do something with cooking, be some sort of model, possibly design clothes. And real estate kind of came up like a long time ago. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of doing all these things are kind of fulfilling like all the childhood thoughts and dreams that I've always had.
Okay. Well, let's start with nursing school because that's where I met you, right? I
Mm-hmm.
met her in undergrad and she was going through nursing school. She had gotten into the nursing program, correct?
Yes.
And so, how was that process for you?
It was very hard. I always tell people nursing school is not something easy. People are always fussing at their family members when they're not showing up for them when they're in nursing school. But I always tell people nursing school is a different world. It
Mm-hmm.
is not the world that you think it is. You do not have time to be with your friends all the time. You have to cut stuff out. Sometimes you have to literally shut the world out. And you sometimes it's almost like you can't have any outside drama. I
Mm-hmm.
always end up having something crazy happening in my life every time I went to nursing school. So eventually I kind of had to lay it to rest and just do phlebotomy. I did consider going back, but I never did go back. But I would always encourage anybody to go. If you love people, if you have a heart for people, if you care for people, I would always encourage you to go to nursing school.
Okay, because y'all, now she was my roommate when I was doing biology. So it was me, her, and Shamika just called me. I had to decline her call. I will call her back. And my cousin Shamika, and we ended up all being roommates at one time. But I remember when Quay was in nursing school, and of course, biology has its own field, but Quay used to lock herself in her room.
100%. Forget the world. I gotta study.
She used to lock herself in her room. So if she wasn't working, she was definitely tending to her studies. And yes, like she said, nursing school is a whole different world. Even with me coming from biology, it was definitely hard to navigate going into nursing school because you are going to have those tests where you don't feel adequate enough to even take the test, or you might be in a program that does not care about people who look like you. You may feel like you're out of place, but you always have to keep your eye on the prize, especially if that's something that you want. So, Quay, how did we get to phlebotomy?
So phlebotomy was just something supposed to be like I don't want to call it a distraction, but it was more like I was in nursing school and I was like, okay, let's add a skill to the log before I get done with nursing school. I was like, I'm gonna just go and do this little program that I heard about. You just go on the weekend to Jacksonville for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Jacksonville for 3 days, got my phlebotomy license, and I never really planned to use it, just kind of wanted the skill. Well, then eventually I did move back to my hometown. I decided not to continue with nursing school, although I did get accepted to continue into the program because I did fail a course. I got accepted to continue into the program, but I decided to decline it, and I never did go back and do it. So when I did move back to my hometown, one of the jobs that I saw available when I was really trying to get a job was phlebotomy. I applied for it and I did not get it. They told me I didn't have enough experience. I didn't have enough sticks. So I was very adamant about being a phlebotomist and using
Mm-hmm.
my license. So I applied as the lab tech assistant. So that was essentially me just catching the bullet. It's like when you go to the bank and they have those bullets. So we have those at the hospital. They send down specimens and stuff like that. I was catching those specimens. So I really started at the very bottom. They trained me in phlebotomy from there. And when the position became available, I got the PRN position. And from there, I went from PRN to what I am now, which is a lab coordinator.
Oh, say
Yes.
lab coordinator. Y'all hear my friend. She said she's a lab coordinator.
Absolutely.
I know that for you, phlebotomy has opened up a lot of different doors. Because I
Yeah.
know a little bit of your story. I don't know everything, so that's what we're here to understand now. So you did go from catching the bullets to being actually on the floor. Were you doing sticks on the floor?
Yeah, so when I became a ASNI, so they were training me when I was just catching a bullet, but then so that was like I was just kind of semi helping, but
Mm-hmm.
then they got a PRN position available, and once that PRN position became available, then I started helping on the floor inside of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And so after working inside the hospital, a position became available for to be the lab coordinator at a separate office that was still under the hospital's lab. So now I basically have my own lab. I'm the lab coordinator over there, but yes. So no longer
Okay.
am I inside of the hospital. I just help when they need help. I am at my own lab across the street.
Okay. And I love that you talk about how you started from the bottom. Most people think that they're supposed to enter into the field wherever they are at the top or in the middle. But sometimes you do have to start off at the bottom as a CNA, a tech, or whatever you need to do to get your reps in, because they always say, you need experience. Well, how do I get the experience if, I need the job? First of all, I just need the job. I have the
Yeah.
certificate. I need the job. So, how do you get the experience? Like Quay just said, you have to start at the bottom sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't look as pretty as you want it to look, but sometimes you have to go into that entry level position so that you can get to where you want to be. So, as a lab coordinator, what does that look like for you?
Um, it's almost like I'm still basically a regular phlebotomist,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm in the lab by myself, so I'm the only phlebotomist there. So it's like we have a registrar that sits beside me. She registers all of our patients. She hands them off to me. I put it in the computers, put their orders in, take them to the back, draw their blood.
Mm-hmm.
We're just kind of like the hospital's outpatient lab.
Mm-hmm.
So patients can go to the main hospital lab, but for whatever reason,
They're gonna
I
come to
don't know.
Quay.
Everybody say I spoil them. I don't know what it is, but everybody think they're supposed to come to Quay. I can be on lunch break and they'll be like, "We'll wait for it." I can be off work. They'll go home and say, "I'll come back tomorrow." Like
Mm-hmm.
it's literally that serious. They will not go anywhere.
There is.
they think they're supposed to only come to me. They
Mm-hmm.
think some of them call me Q. They think that that's my name. They can't say Quay.
I don't know why. I guess it's a South Georgia thing, girl.
I don't
They
know what it
they act
is.
like they can't say certain words. But I can say that listening to you talk about your experience and how, nursing school didn't work out for you, but you are doing something in healthcare and you are helping people, because you see how people gravitate towards you and how they would rather you stick them than anybody else. And you know what? Some people they're like, "Oh, I didn't even feel that." So they always gonna come to you.
100%. That's what I always hear. They like seeing my
Oh,
mama
you
in
did
public, like,
good.
"Hey, your daughter drew my blood. Your daughter's so good at that." I'm like,
You're
"Oh,
like, here we
y'all,
go.
y'all
Now,
please."
now you got me dang near about to break hip of hip up here talking, and your mama coming up to you like, "Hey, girl, somebody said such and such and such and
Yes,
such,"
and
and
I'm
you like,
like, "Mama,
"We cannot talk about this right now." But
for real, we
okay,
can't, we can't, we can't."
so being a phlebotomist tech and now being a lab coordinator, I know you have done some education as well. So what did it look like for you to precept students?
So I had no idea that that was something I was gonna love to do. To be
Mhm.
honest, I actually fell in love with it, and I actually at one point considered actually like taking this from just being a phlebotomist to trying to see if I can apply to teach phlebotomy because of the reaction from all the students from all the years. Like they send them to my office, and when they get to me, they like, "We've been waiting to get to you." And I'm like, "Why?" Like shocked, like why? And they like, "My teacher talk about you. Everybody talk about you. Everybody say you so good. Everybody want to learn from you. Everybody want to be over here with you." And I'm like, "Really?"
Mhm.
So it's always a shock to me, but every set of students has said that. And every set of students says, like, when they train with me, they like, golly, I learned so much from you in just a day or two. Like,
Mhm.
you teach everything, and that's because I'm a detailed person. So I'm gonna teach you every single detail that I know, because I don't see a reason to gatekeep any information, no matter what field it is, no matter if it's real estate, no matter if it's modeling, no matter if it's phlebotomy. Like, if you want to know something, I really will teach you. There's
If
no
you
need
don't
for
know,
gatekeeping
go to Quay. And
that.
I feel like that's all of us in our friend group. I think on the episode that me and Shamika had, we actually talked about how people will stop us randomly somewhere and they'll start asking us questions. And we'll answer them, because what's the point in gatekeeping when you know somebody wants the information? What they do with the information is whatever they do with it. But you know that you're doing your part by offering whatever information that you have to them. So that's why I love this. I love it. What Monique said, I love us for real.
Oh, I gonna tell everybody about Keisha and Shamika. I'm like, y'all, they're my friends. I'm like, y'all, if I decide that I want to sell balloons, I promise Keisha and Shamika gonna support me.
We gonna buy the balloons.
Literally.
But yes, so we've already talked about phlebotomy and all of that. But as I say all the time, we're more than just healthcare. We are humans. We have other desires, other things that we have going on. So when did your modeling career start?
I think about 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2022. Trying to remember, be sure. It might have been like 2021, 2022. I think it was 2021 at the end of the year. It was like November. Somebody told
Mm-hmm.
me, like, hey, they're going to have a fashion show in Douglas. You may want to be a part of it. And I'm like, yeah, how do I apply? And
Mm-hmm.
I missed the first deadline. It was like 2 tryouts for it. So I missed the first one. Somehow I made it to the second one, but I almost didn't make it to that one. And I thought, I was so nervous. I was like, I know I'm not going to make it. I was like, because I have no experience, and somehow I made it, and it kind of like started from there. But this goes all the way back to childhood. Since I was a kid, I wanted to model and design clothes, and I even like what maybe a couple Valentine's days ago, I got like a sewing machine for around that time, and it was a gift. But now I can, if I want to, make my own clothes as well. So I kind of want to make my own outfit like fully, because one of the last fashion shows I was in, there was a self-expression scene, and I made a
Mm-hmm.
dress. I started making the dress. I had to get help finishing it, but the goal was to make it myself. But
Mm-hmm.
it was just a bunch of pictures of me to kind of like self-express, and then a hat with like a bunch of pictures of me, and then like sparkles everywhere, kind of like sparkly
Yeah.
boots, kind of to show my glamorous, super
Mm-hmm.
girly, super sparkly, bubbly, bright Quay personality.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what that scene was all about. But modeling, kind of like I said, has always been a thing I want to do, as well as designing clothes. So that's something I still want to be able to do, but only for me. I don't
Only
want
for you.
to. I
Really.
don't want to design clothes for the world.
If y'all for the world, if y'all go to Quay's TikTok or her Instagram page, mostly her TikTok, you'll see that she does like design her own clothes, and she does it like it's self-expression for her, and it's so cute. That's why I wanted to bring up her designing her own clothes, because she might not consider herself a designer, but to me, when I'm looking at all the things that she's doing, that's one of the things that she loves to do and that she's actively doing. Because if she go to a concert, she might have the person pictures on her boots. I just say,
Literally, literally.
I'm just saying, like, she does a lot of different things. And that's what I want to show you all here, is that you can be more than just a healthcare professional, more than just a nurse, a phlebotomist, a CNA, whatever you are. You can do more than just that, because as you see, Quay, she has gone to nursing school. That didn't work out for her. Now she is in phlebotomy as a lab coordinator. So she's worked her way to the top, but she also has a life outside of that. And so with that, you just did some modeling for a scrub company, correct?
Yes, I did. Chris
Okay.
work.
Say that one more time.
Chris workwear.
Okay, so how did it feel for you doing, like, that was something new?
Oh, I was so excited about it. Like, I couldn't quit thinking about it. I was so excited to be chosen for that. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, the bond that I have with the designer, her
Mm-hmm.
name is Crystal Lester. It was even more special for me, because I got to watch from the point that she was first sketching it out and first talking about the idea, all the way up to seeing her vision come true. So she's also a nurse. So seeing
Mm-hmm.
her be something outside of just nursing. She now owns her own business. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch her grow and glow in this. So, but yeah, I love the experience.
Yes, I love hearing about everything that you're doing because as I said, like evolving and then growing into the person that you saw little Quay, like you had all of these big dreams and big
Yeah,
aspirations. And I know that at some point in your life you were like, I don't think that this is gonna happen for me.
for sure.
And how did you overcome that mindset?
So the thing is, whether I doubt things or not, I don't give up.
Mhm.
Even with nursing school, I did give nursing school a go, and at one point, like I had to like take a pause and like retry it. And even with that, like I did not give up until I decided, you know what, I don't know if nursing is for me. I'm gonna step away for some time
Mhm.
and try to reevaluate. But with that, even with that, I never gave up. Like I still kept trying. I found resources. I found out what else I need to do in order to be able to still be a nurse when I still desire that. So
Mhm.
if I ever got that desire back, know that I wouldn't give up until I had RN behind my name.
Which is look, this is
A
what big
hundred
kids
percent.
do, y'all.
Anything that I want, I go get.
And I
That's
love that.
who I.
And I love that. And it goes to show that regardless of what most people think that nursing is the only way to fulfill their purpose. Because sometimes nursing isn't your purpose. It might feel like it because the eye's vision is that nursing is helping people. And when your purpose is helping people, that's either nursing, a doctor. Those are the only two that we see. But there are so many other areas in healthcare that we can go into if we're trying to help people. Not even just that, social work, mental health, all of these other areas are pockets that you can go into if you don't feel like nursing is the area for you. And I'm glad that you said that you don't give up. Like even when the tough tides come in, the obstacles are in the way, you keep pushing forward because you need that type of tenacity to even become who you want to be, because it's easy to be comfortable. It's very easy to be comfortable, but it's not always easy to achieve the dreams that you want to achieve.
Yes, for sure.
So, Quay, you're a real estate agent now.
Yeah.
So, my friend is a real estate agent now, and this is something that she has been wanting for a while. And so, to see her get here, to see her making the strides, doing open houses, what was the experience like for you? First of all, what lit fire under you to go into real estate?
So I had a friend. She did pass away a couple years ago. Well, she passed. Yeah, it's been a year or two ago that she passed away. But when she was living, she bought a house, and she was telling me about it, and she was just so happy about it. And she was telling me who her real estate agent was. And I was like, that kind of sound cool. And I was like, I've thought about that before. And I was like, but when I thought about it before, somebody told me they don't make any money. So I was like, that wouldn't be something that I should go into.
Mhm.
But then at a later point, I'm like, now also buying a house has been a dream for me since I was a kid. So buying my own house, that's another topic. But I'm just saying, um, but knowing that she kept telling me like, you could buy a house, you could buy your own house if you wanted to. What she didn't know is not long after finding out that like I was capable of buying a house, I started inquiring about it.
Mhm.
And when I met Janika, which is my broker now, I met Janika, and it kind of like inspired me to see all that she was doing, because she went from real estate agent to broker and all the stuff that she was doing. And me and her was talking, and she was telling me like, about being a realtor, and she was telling me like, if that's something that I want to do, I can do it. She really gave me the recipe way back then to
Mhm.
be a realtor. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And people always say that, and they never actually do it. But it was something I said I was gonna do. And if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So I did give it an attempt, but I wasn't keeping up with it because, as everybody knows, like when you take a class online, you do not take it as serious. I
Uh-uh.
should have very much did virtual or in class, and I would have been a real estate agent longer before now. But when you do online, you kind of don't have any deadlines, so you do it at your
Mhm.
own pace, and that's what messed me up. I didn't finish in time, and so with that, I just said, you know what? I'll go back and try to do it eventually. I went back and done it, and I really almost ran out of time this time too, because again, you procrastinate so much when it's online. But there were extensions available, so I did do the extensions. I paid for the extensions. I got the extensions. I studied, and I really locked in. I shut the world out.
Yes, you did.
Nobody saw me. Nobody knew what I was doing,
Hey,
where I was.
Keisha. Hey, y'all, I'm not gonna be on social media. I'm about
because
to get our
I
Facebook.
because when you tagged me, I didn't want you to think like I'm ignoring you. So I was like, let me let my girl know because my girl always tag me and stuff and the stuff. And I was like, I don't want to think I'm ignoring her. So like I would take social media detoxes just so I can lock in because I was like, this is something I said I'm gonna do and I'm gonna show myself I can do it.
Hmm.
And I did it. Like I went and I took my real estate exam. My final exam was the first one. I went and took it, passed it on the first try. I went and took my after you take your final exam, now it's the time for the big test, the state exam to get your license.
Hmm.
In faith, I took my money because you had to have cash, you had to have a background check. And again, like I said, I don't give up. Even down to having to get a background check. I tried to get it from my own county. Went up there to the office to try to get it, and they're like, "Our system is down." I'm like, "When will your system be back up?" They said next Monday. I said my test is Monday. So then that left me having to go and try to figure out a way so that I could still get my license when I go. Because if you have everything when you're there, you can get your license, and you have to be present there to get your
Hmm.
license. You can't just I don't think you can just get them like online. Like I think you have to be in the facility to get it. So they said that their system was down. And because their system was down, I needed the background check by Monday because I had only took off PTO for Monday. Monday was the only day that I had off. So
Hmm.
I told myself like you got to go pass that test. You already barely have PTO. You done took out this whole day to drive all the way to Macon, Georgia, and your mama don't even know where you at. You ain't even tell your mama you going to take this test. You just going to take this test. Your
She
daddy
didn't
don't
tell
know.
nobody.
I didn't. I
You didn't
felt
tell
so
nobody.
bad. Mm-mm.
Don't feel bad because Shamika did the same thing. We didn't know that
I
she
told
passed her class until we went to her graduation.
Yeah, see, I told my broker because I had to have like certain information from her to be
Mhm.
able to apply to my license like that day because again, I told myself I'm taking everything with me hoping that I'll get my license this day. So I think it was like $170 for the license or
Mhm.
110. You had to have a background check, and I think you had to have like your ID and all that stuff. I took all that, but I drove all the way to Tifton Friday. As soon as I got off work, drove all the way to Tifton just to get a background check because there was no other way. There was nowhere else that I could really just go get it from. So I went all the way to Tifton, Georgia, Friday night to make sure that I was gonna have my background check come early Monday morning when I had to drive all the way to
Girl, that
Macon. Again, I don't give up.
dedication. Dedication. And you do have to have that to get through some of these trials, to get through some of to even like get through these programs. Like you have to have some tenacity because if you don't, you'll allow that little obstacle, their system is down, to keep you from doing it. You'll be like, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. A lot of people will hit that. I guess it wasn't meant to be because if it was meant to be, then it would be easy. No, it's not. It's not always going to be easy. And so for you to pick up and be like, you know what, let me get on the road. I'm going to go to Tifton so that I can get this stuff done because you knew what your goal was. So how has it been for you in real estate?
I love it so far. I really do. I have a marketing event this weekend. We're just going to Atlanta, Georgia to go to this big festival event to kind of market me and some of my teammates. Our broker, she's such a good person. She paid like for some slots for us to go and set up. She sent a message out, a mass message to the whole team. It was like, I have a couple slots available. It's already paid for you guys to go to this event and just market yourselves, put
Mm-hmm.
yourself out there. So she sets us up for success. Like if somebody ever was to say that she doesn't, they would be lying because she
Mm-hmm.
sets us up for success. She has all kind of trainings. It's always something available. Like within the team, we have like monthly huddles, like to kind of talk and talk about our experiences. We have like little learning events like each time throughout the month. So it's several things to set us up for success. And I do have a client right now, so that is a good thing. So hopefully we'll be talking about a closing very soon. But yes, stay tuned for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, real estate is going really good right now.
And for the person who said that, there's no money in real estate, there is always going to be houses, right? People are going to be looking at houses. It just kind of depends on what market we're in, a buyer's or a seller's market. And you can go either way. You can help with selling somebody's property, or you can help somebody to buy a property. Wherever you want to land, you'll kind of gain your footing in that as go on. Now, is it hard work? Yes, it's hard work. You have to make time for the meetings. You have to make time to go to networking events. You have to put yourself out there. And being an introvert, sometimes you don't necessarily know how to put yourself out there in that way. But Quay, you're an extrovert.
Extrovert for sure. Sometimes though, I do find myself like sometimes I find myself wanting to be like at home, like by
Mm-hmm.
myself, quiet, but like not in a way that like I don't like people because I love people. You know that. You
Mm-hmm.
know that like I love people, but it's just like sometimes I do just kind of want to like be to myself, and I'm like, where's this coming from? Who is this girl?
It's just you need to recharge.
Yeah, because like I'm so not used to it. Like it used to be so weird for me when I didn't feel like kind of like being around a whole bunch of people. It was so weird for me because I'm like, but I'm a people's person. I'm like, who am I right now? Like, why do I feel like this? But I do realize as I get older, like there will be times where I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people, and it's okay because yes, I'm a people's person, but it's okay that sometimes I do need some space from the world to think to get my mind together. So yes.
Yes,
I extrovert though.
look, Quay, I have to tell you, I'm very, very, very proud of you for all the steps that you have made and that you're going to continue making, because I see you huge. Like very, very big in the future. You pour into so many people, you do so many different things. And so for this episode, Bridging the Gap, is really to allow people to see that we all work together for the benefit of the patient. So a patient needing Quay's help, who they're seeking out Quay because, hey, she's the best vampire there is. She's going to get my blood and it's not going to hurt. I'm not going to feel uncomfortable. A lot of people, they struggle with actually going to the hospital because they don't want to get poked, they don't want to get prodded. And people like Quay, who are phlebotomists, they help to calm those nerves down. In addition to that, since we are ending the episode, what advice would you give to someone who is seeking out an opportunity in phlebotomy?
Um, hmm. Let me make sure I'm giving like really good advice with this. If it's something that you want to do, go for it. I'll say never let anything stop you. Not a school, not a person, not a place, not a thing. Because everything that I have wanted to do, there definitely has been negativity before, after, and during. And so also too, I always suggest that people move silently. Anything you do, you don't have to announce it. You do not have to post it on Facebook and tell them, "Hey, I'm in phlebotomy school." You can simply just go apply to phlebotomy school
Mhm.
and simply just it might not be easy. And if you see this episode and you want to be a phlebotomist, then reach out to me if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to know. But I'm willing to help with that. But just don't give up on anything you want to do, whether it's phlebotomy, nursing, even any of the things that I do, modeling, real estate. Like I'm gonna always be an advocate for going to do whatever you want. Follow your heart, follow your dreams, do what you desire to do. Because I always tell people, you get one life. Imagine that you're only 20 something. Imagine getting 60 something more years on this earth. Just imagining that. Even if you don't, but imagining that, what will you do at that time?
Exactly. Because you can always say, I don't want to spend the extra 4 or 5 years in school, and then 4 or 5 years pass by and you could have already gotten it done.
Exactly. Time is just gonna keep moving. So if you do get 60 plus more years on this earth, then what are you gonna do with that time? You might as well do the things that you want to do. Like it's okay. And I always tell people that. And this may seem like it's a little off topic, but I'm not trying to be off topic. Just saying that I always tell people you really do get one life. And it's okay to make changes to be a better version of yourself. Whether it's the way that you talk to people, if you're rude, work on that because you're gonna be on this earth a lot longer. So it's like, why be like that? Because it might make life harder for you because we're in a world where you kind of gotta deal with people. Like you can't really dodge people because the world is just getting bigger. There's so many things now that you will have to talk to people. Like, yeah, you think you see AI and all that stuff, but you're still gonna have to talk to people. It doesn't matter what job you work, you're gonna have to talk to people.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. So,
And I just had a conversation with one of my team members a few weeks ago because she was having like a terrible attitude and stuff like that. And I was talking to her, she was like, yeah, that's why I work nights. And I was like, even on nights, you have to deal with people.
You have to deal with people. Work on all those ways.
Yes, you have to. And that's just what it is. Now, if you don't want to deal with people, then you don't really necessarily want to be in healthcare. Um, but as you said, wherever you go, wherever you need to be, it's way harder to carry negativity than it is to just smile, say, hey, be kind.
100%.
And that concludes another successful episode of the Evolved Nurse podcast. I am so, so, so grateful for each and every one of you who has came on here, listened, enjoyed, and not only that, let's thank Qua, our guest today. She gave us so much good information on being a phlebotomist, in addition to that, a real estate agent, in addition to that, a model. And I forgot to tell y'all that she also cooks, okay? So, with that being said, I'm going to leave all of her information in the description box so that you can go over and follow her because you won't be disappointed, I promise. But with that being said, to all my students who are going to school and wrapping things up from this summer semester and going into the fall, good luck. And then to everyone who is applying to school, you got it. For those who are going into med surg, I have an Etsy study guide that you can get. It'll be also in the description box. But with that being said, I hope you have a great day, have a great year, and I hope that you enjoy these episodes. If there's any specific type of episode you want, um, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always available in my DMs as well as my email, which is theevolvednurse@gmail.com. With that being said, have a great day. Bye.